Torrance boy and his father, who were deported to Honduras, away from family and friends.
What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite Mexican Ranko here. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm not doing too bad myself. Today we're talking about another serious topic because I don't see anyone else in the community talking about it. I've been getting non-stop videos on my For You page of good-hearted, hardworking immigrant families being stripped apart and separated by ICE. And I'm just to the point where, like, I need to talk about this issue because of how bad it's getting. And before I even dive into my points, I want to make it clear that I'm only talking about the immigrants who aren't committing atrocious crimes. Obviously, I think violent criminals should be handled by the law. I feel like that's common sense, but this video isn't about them. It's about the ones who aren't doing those crazy things, who are still being deported. For those who haven't been properly informed about what's going on, ICE has tripled its daily arrest targets from 1,000 to 3,000 a day, and they're doing this regardless of criminal background. They don't care if they have a criminal record. If they're illegal, they're going to take them and separate them from their families. And I don't want to hear it from the people who are just going to say, well, they're in our country illegally, so that means they're committing a crime. First of all, most of the people getting deported are in the process of getting their citizenship, which can take up to a few years to get, but y'all just want to call them criminals instead of realizing that the process takes a long time to get a citizenship. And second of all, is it a crime to exist in a country now? Like, don't get me wrong, I know that an illegal immigrant staying here without trying to get their papers is probably the wrong thing for them to do. They should try to get their papers. But when I think of the word criminal, I think of someone who's actively harming their community or has done it before. And based on every single immigrant that I've ever met, they do the complete opposite. They help out, they contribute, they're funny as hell, they're great people to be around. Extremely hardworking too. So I don't understand how people are just labeling these illegal immigrants as just flat out criminals when most of them are focused on getting their papers and don't have a criminal record. So I don't understand when people look at these illegal immigrants being deported and think, oh, these are just criminals, when the numbers show that there's clearly a ton of non-criminals being rounded up too. And this pie graph is just from 2019 to 2024. Here's the updated numbers. Less than 10% of the roughly 185,000 people blocked into Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody from October 1st through May 31st have been convicted of serious crimes like murder, rape, assault, or robbery. So less than 10% of immigrants rounded up in the last 6 months have been criminals. Yet there's still people outside saying that they're just taking the criminals, when 90% of the immigrants being taken are non-criminals who are working on getting their papers. This is insane.
You know what? I'm gonna weaponize Mexican racism to make a bunch of people think that they're taking criminals, when in reality, most of them are just innocent Mexicans.
And it's crazy because I'll literally be told by some Trump bootlicker that he's only deporting the criminals, when if you just take a look at the graph, you can clearly see that that's not the case. The reality is that these illegal immigrants who are being deported with no criminal history and are trying to get their papers are people like you and I. They're far from criminals. They wake up in their beds in the morning, they go to work, they're human beings who are just trying to survive and thrive. And that's what I really wanted to center in on, because a lot of people are going to say that this video is politically driven, when in reality, it's just humanity driven. If you can't see the problem with illegal immigrant families being stripped apart purely because they don't have legal status, that's fucked up. And I'm fully aware that I'm going to lose a chunk of my audience saying this, but I've been waiting to do this. If you're going to justify innocent families being broken apart, then y'all can leave. Again, though, I'm not talking about the immigrants who are committing atrocious crimes. ICE can take the killers, the rapists, go ahead and take all of them, but don't take innocent people who are just existing and trying to thrive in a nation that they moved to escape where they were from. Like, bro, it's not rocket science. It's so easy to understand. But I've been seeing just so many people give me these rebuttals that just make no fucking sense. It's like they don't have any sort of empathy or any sort of, they're not even trying to put themselves in these immigrants' shoes. It's insane. Also, if you look at the criminal immigrant deportation numbers, they've barely gone up under Trump's presidency. The only deportation numbers that have really spiked are the non-criminals. So I don't want to hear that these ICE sweeps are about the criminals, because the numbers clearly show otherwise. And I'm really only covering the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the ICE sweeps and immigration situation going on. I haven't even explained what's going on with the foster home children immigrants and the elementary school immigrants being taken away by ICE. And yes, that's happening.
Torrance boy and his father, who were deported to Honduras, away from family and friends.
Deported 3 U.S. citizen children to Honduras. including a 4-year-old boy who is actively receiving treatment for a rare form of stage 4 cancer.
I think we can all agree that ICE raiding an elementary school is fucking insane. And at this point, I know a lot of people in my audience aren't gonna want to hear this, but I believe the motivation is racism. If it really was about the criminals, then there wouldn't be any non-criminal immigrants being taken away from their families. And I stand very firm on that. I know Trump bootlickers are gonna get very mad at this video, so feel free to let your frustrations out in my comment section. You guys are only gonna amplify this video by doing that and play yourselves. I know you guys are used to doing that though, so feel free. And this issue isn't about Democrats versus Republicans or any of that fake APAC bullshit either. This is about humanity and right versus wrong. Simple. And the fact that we're deploying military forces in our own country just to stop a few people from breaking property is insane too. And don't even get me started on those cops who were shooting random people with rubber bullets who weren't causing any harm during these protests or inciting any violence. I think the wildest clip that I saw was when an officer shot a reporter with a rubber bullet.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You just shut the fuck up. You okay?
I'm good.
Are you okay?
I guess this administration doesn't like journalism too much. And I think the saddest outcome of all of this is children being taken. I can't even imagine what it's like for them to be taken into custody for simply existing in a country. A free one at that, I thought.
Karen, don't let me go. I have to because the county of LA said I had to.
ICE is now removing undocumented foster children from their foster homes. Removing foster children from their foster homes for deportation. Y'all, I've been working in the foster care system for 28 years. I'm a former foster mom and I adopted 4 children from foster care and fostered many others. And I have represented hundreds of children who are in foster care. And one thing all of these children have in common is they have all been through trauma to one degree or another. We are taking children who have already been through trauma and removing them from foster homes for deportation. There will be a reckoning for this in this life or the next.
Anyways, that's most of what I wanted to talk about. There's definitely more going on and I could cover that, and it's actively getting worse based on how these charts look. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about for now. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know so they can know more about this problem. And if you liked this video, feel free to tap the like button. If you want to see more content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, with that all being said, try to stay safe, try to stay positive. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.